YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to another channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back here again. Now, in today's video, I wanted to kind of talk about something. So, this past week, we got the announcement that the writer's strike for writers is finally over. Writers can finally go back to the office and reshoot films and stuff like that. But we also got announced from the Marvel Studios that they are looking for writers and stuff for a new X-Men film in the MCU. Now, I kind of been delaying this film a lot, whether it comes to Fantastic Four or X-Men, because if I'm being honest, I don't really know what kind of video to make about the X-Men, really. So, like, I don't know if I don't really know how to do fan castings for the characters, because I don't know who the official members of the X-Men are, and I just didn't really know what to do, but I finally was able to come to a conclusion of what to do for an X-Men video, and that is to do a pitch for what an X-Men movie in the MCU should be, at least for the first film, if it succeeds, and it builds a mutant saga, whatever it does. So let's start off with this first one. So, for the director of this movie, I would actually go with Spike Lee, who directed, I believe, The Five Bloods, as well as a movie called Malcolm X, which part of the interesting story about the X-Men is that it's kind of a prejudice story. And Malcolm X, I guess, is part of that movement, kind of like Martin Luther King and stuff. And I haven't seen it, but I have heard stuff about that. And I also saw that someone chose this director because of it, so I'm choosing Spike Lee to be the director of this X-Men film. But when we get into the main plot, all the stuff I'm about to say, I don't really know if all this happened in the original X-Men film from 2000, but I really want this to be a more realistic movie with people people that have superpowers, but they have to learn these mutants who were born with their powers, and kind of creates this long history of mutants as you create this little secret organization of X-Men who are trying to go across the entire world to look for mutants who have been out there, and they're trying to find them. And you start off the movie with Charles Xavier's X-Men with Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm, the members that he picked up, and they're trying to find other mutants out there so that way they can bring them and make them teachers at Charles Xavier School. So the one they're going to be trying to find in this movie is Jim Logan, Wolverine, as he's a soldier. He fought in many of the wars, something like Captain America, so they're basically like bringing Captain America in this universe. So if you want to compare it to like the Avengers side of things, Wolverine's basically like Captain America in this situation, where he's strong, he's buff, and he was in a lot of wars in the past, and he also doesn't age. And then Charles Xavier's kind of like the Nick Fury of all this. As to why he's not really a part of the team, though he is the commander of all of this, he is the one that is in charge of all this. He's in charge of the team. He built this school. And we get back to someone I would cast as, I don't know who I would cast as Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, or Beast, or Colossus. For Professor X, I would cast Bryan Cranston, just because every time I think of him, I think of this really great guy who's been through a lot. And Bryan Cranston, I feel like, fits that guy, who's been through a lot, but he is this very smart guy. And also kind of like this Mr. Glass type character. Even though if you hit him, he's not going to break easily. But what makes Professor X and this guy so incredible is that we kind of learned that we don't want to show it, but we kind of learned that Professor X has gone through so much, where when he was a child, he was bullied because everybody thought he was a freak. And as he got older, as his mind got stronger, his legs started to drag him down, and so he had to sit in a wheelchair his whole life. And so he's had this deranged life, but none of that really stopped him from keeping on going, to where he created this crew. He created the X-Men, and he also created this school to teach other mutants how to be good. And he kind of thinks that what he's doing is right, so he's bringing in all these other mutants, these adult mutants, and raising them and protecting them, and basically expanding the school of mutants and training them to be better than themselves and teaching them how to be heroes. And at first it's more of, this school was built to protect mutant kind, but to teach them how to use their powers. But instead, throughout the movie, we also get these other bad mutants, plus these people that hate mutants, plus these humans called the Preifers, whoever these people are called, and they want to kill mutants. And so that's kind of interesting. But then you also got Magneto, who went through the Holocaust, and so you don't need to establish of what he went through because you know it. And so you already assume with his army, so he's the villain of the movie. And part of the arc throughout this movie is you also introduce new kids, part of the team with Iceman as well as Rogue, so they're the new members of the team. But you start to realize, as this team that Charles Xavier built, they're not meant to be protectors of mutants. They're really supposed to be protectors of the world. It's kind of like Black Panther, where Black Panther isn't meant to protect Wakanda. It's meant to protect vibranium from the world, but we're supposed to be offering vibranium to the world. And we're not only supposed to be, it's the same thing with the X-Men. We're not supposed to be protecting just mutants. We really should be protecting the world, become a super team. And this school shouldn't be a school, a hiding place. It should be a place where mutants can come and learn how to use their powers, but for good purposes and to protect people. Because even if the world is bad, there's still a good side of humanity that is still good to protect. And I think that's what makes the X-Men so interesting. That's like even if there's bad humans out there, the world doesn't need to be destroyed. And I think that's a good story. And that's how Wolverine gets into it, and he realizes that, and he becomes part of this team, and he learns a lot with Charles Xavier. Most of this might be similar to the first X-Men film, but I think it's a brilliant way to tell this story, have really cool action, and get a tease of all these different characters, and it will get you invested into this world that you're endearing. And I think that you could do a lot of different stuff with this character and see all these different mutants and stuff like that, and just kind of see a different side of what the X-Men would be like in the MCU. That's kind of what I think. So that is really my pitch for the MCU X-Men film. And also, to star as Wolverine, I would cast Taron Egerton, the guy that played Johnny in Sing, as well as Elton John in Rocketman. Those are the actors I would really cast. But that's it for my pitch for the MCU X-Men. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.